Hello folks, Papa Top 912 coming at you today with a little bit of a different video. I was going to go over my thoughts on the GoPro Hero 3 cameras and what they have to offer for the applications that I use them in. So what I have today on the table is a Hero 3 Black and a Hero 3 Silver, and then the GoPro Wi-Fi remote. When I first jumped into the Hero market, I went with the Silver because just thinking about everything that I was going to use it for, I thought that the Silver would serve its purpose for what I needed to do. Basically, I just shoot fishing videos and or cooking videos, which is not a lot of fast action and things like that, so I didn't need the best of the best. I just needed, you know, a mid-range camera that could record my fishing and that I could make videos to put on YouTube. So I got the Silver, and it was just the Silver with, you know, the accessories that come in the pack, and I thought it was just a marvelous camera for what I used it for. I would set it on the windshield of my console, and it has a that 170-degree angle. I was able to basically shoot a very wide area and capture a lot of good video. I've been able to catch fish striking the lures on film, and actually even inside of the case, the audio is, I say, it's pretty good on the camera because you can hear it when the fish, you know, jump out the water and they make the big splashes. You can get all of that in a pretty decent distance away from the boat as well. So I think the Hero 3 Silver Edition is a very good camera if you don't need, you know, super high quality video, or if you don't need super high frame rates and things like that. I typically just film on 1080p at 30 frames per second on the wide view, and my video editing software is just the Windows Movie Maker software, so it's not much that I'm doing to it, and I think I'm doing pretty good. Got some good video, some good quality. This camera, I purchased the accessory backpack for it, battery backpack for it, because where it was a good camera, I could only get right at 2 hours of filming, and most of the time I'm on the water between 4 and 6 hours, and I kind of like to set it and forget it and just not have to worry about going to change batteries or having the camera go off at a, you know, a critical point while I'm in the middle of a catch or something like that. Or if I try to just leave it in standby mode, I would end up probably forgetting to turn it on and miss that fish of a lifetime. So what I did, I purchased the accessory backpack for it, and it did double the battery time. I'm thinking I can get about between 4 and 4.5 hours. I have run it up to 4 testing it, and it will still have some life left in it. So I'm thinking I can get 4.5 at the most. I would estimate 4 when I'm out on the water. Another good thing is that with those 4 hours, when I'm not in my big boat, if I'm just floating down the river in my tube, or if I am in my kayak, I got 4 hours worth of filming time in areas where I really don't want to be fumbling with the camera trying to take it out and change batteries and things like that, because as we all know, these things are not waterproof. So when I go out in the river on my kayak, on my float tube, I can throw that backpack on there, and I know I got enough, you know, video recording time for, you know, my typical trip is about 3 hours, so I'm good to go there recording at 1080p 30 frames a second. And again, the audio quality is really good, and I have no complaints about it. So then you may ask yourself, well, why did he go get the Hero 3 Black Edition? Well, number one, they came out the Hero 3 Plus, so the Black actually went down to the same price as last year's Silver. So I was really interested in getting a second camera because of the shots that I'm trying to take on the boat, some of the different scenes that I'm trying to get, that kind of backwards view, frontwards view, also having it strapped to my chest with the chesty harness. I can have one that's kind of captures the whole experience from afar, and then I could have the other one strapped to me to catch that live view. So when I'm actually in the fight, I'm blocking the camera view on the fixed mount, but if the camera's mounted to my chest in front of me, I'm getting all of that action. So I was in the market for another one, and it just so happens that they were coming out with the 3 Plus, so that knocked the prices down. So I said, well, why not go ahead and get the black if it was the same price? It's a little bit, I guess it's a lot bit of a better camera. You can do much higher resolution and much higher frame rates, but that does come at a cost, and that cost is record time and battery life. Even when I put both these cameras on the same settings, at most I get about an hour and 15 minutes out of the black. And I also purchased the accessory backpack for it too, and with that backpack I can get about 2 hours and 45 minutes. So, you know, that's not as good as the silver, but I really only use the black when I'm in the boat and I have some extra batteries, and I'm trying to figure it out, but when I try to charge these, when I put them together, let me just take it out of the case for a second. With the accessory battery backpack, it comes with its own charging port, and then, you know, the camera has its charging port as well. Now, when I plug the port into here, it'll charge the camera and the backpack 100%, and when I put the charger in here, it will charge the camera but not the backpack. I hadn't quite figured that out yet, but you know, I just end up taking it out the case and charging it in here to make sure everything's charged up. It would be a lot more convenient if I could figure out what's going on, so that I could just simply plug it in here and not even have to take the camera out the case. Now, the one thing I haven't tried is just plugging into here and seeing if the camera will just run off of shore power, because I have some you know, adapters on my boat that will allow me to power this thing, and then it won't even have to worry about battery life. So I'm going to test that out tomorrow to see if it will actually, I know it will charge if I mean it will record while it's on shore power if I plug it directly into the camera, but I'm not sure if it will work if I plug it directly into the battery. Last time I tried it, I had waited until both the batteries were dead in both, and it really didn't work. It was trying to charge the camera, but it wouldn't allow me to turn the camera on. So something that I got to figure out there. But with the 2 hours or 2.5 hours record time, this is the one that I will strap to my chest. So put that on the chesty, and then I'm going to get the, you know, I can turn that resolution up so I can get some really good shots, turn the frame rates up, so that also if I get some fish jumping out the water or something like that, I can catch that under high frame rate, slow it down in the camera view, and I don't have to have that camera running the whole time. You know, strapped to my chest, I can easily get up and, you know, start filming, and even if I kind of forget a little bit, I still got the main camera that's recording everything, and then when I remember, I can still turn that camera on. But it's not that big of an issue that I've come across that I've really have forgotten to turn it on. So the other part was, I looked at the price, and when you buy the black, you get this remote, the Wi-Fi remote that came with it. Again, in the beginning, I really didn't need the Wi-Fi remote. When I looked at the silver, it's like, you know, that's an extra $100. Do I really need a Wi-Fi remote? No, I got an Android phone. I can do everything that the remote's gonna let it do. And I kind of regret that decision a little bit, because if you take the price of that remote into account, you know, that remote, you know, you can get it, maybe the cheapest you can find it is $60, but it normally retails for about $70. That will put the difference in price on these cameras of just $30. Now, for $30 alone, the black is a much better value than the silver. That's if you take out the price of the wireless remote. But since I couldn't take out the price of wireless remote when I was looking at it, because I really didn't want the remote, I had to look at it as a, you know, a whole purchase of an extra $100 that I really didn't want to spend on the camera. Now, like I said, I wanted to get a second camera, and the angles that I'm using now, I got one camera that I can mount on the motor of the boat, and then the other camera I mount on the trolling motor. So, you know, they're about 22 feet apart, and that gives me a front and a back view, and that's where this remote actually comes in handy, because I can control both of those cameras at the same time with that remote. So if I'm just kind of want to catch something, if I have the cameras running, you know, they're in standby, and then something happens and I'm ready to start filming, I simply turn it on. It's linked to both. It turns on in their default mode, and I just hit the record button, and then it's off to the races. That's when I have them both in the fixed mount positions, and I found that to be very helpful. So my overall takeoffs from this is that the black is a very good camera, and if you really want to take some high frame rates and some high resolution video and pictures, that is the way to go. But the silver is a good second alternative, especially if you're going to be off in remote places where you're not going to have access to shore power, or you just need to be able to record an extended period of time without fumbling with batteries. I could also see that coming in handy when you're doing underwater video too. You know, that extra film time would really make a difference if you were doing some scuba or something like that. So that's my review. Leave your comments at the bottom. Let me know what you think. Papa Top 912.